Hi, my name is Brendan Norton. I'm a person in long-term sustained recovery. For me, that means I haven't used a mood or mind-altering substance in 6 years, 5 months, and 2 days. My recovery journey began back on, it was Mother's Day weekend in 2013 when I had just had a final surgery. I had a knee replacement and I had taken nearly the entire bottle of prescription opioids that I was given. Um, and my wife had found the nearly empty bottle that was only 3 days old. Um, so, after many attempts of other forms of recovery, um, nothing else was really working because I didn't want it to work at that time. So at that point, my wife gave me an ultimatum, and I'll spare you the expletives, but basically she said, you either get some help or you get out of here. And even then, I still wasn't ready for recovery. But I made a call to a 12-step fellowship hotline. They told me where our meeting was the very next day. I went in just an attempt to appease my wife yet again. And this is where I began to believe that there is no such thing as coincidences in life, and that I truly have a higher power in my life that has always been looking out for me. Um, so my plan was to go and sit by the door and tell my wife and leave after 20 minutes and tell my wife that the meeting wasn't there, or what, make up some excuse. But they began reading a chapter from a book, and it was like I had written the story myself, or the story was written just for me that evening, and I heard exactly what I needed to hear. And I sat through that whole meeting and I cried the entire meeting. I was surrounded by love. I was surrounded by other members of the fellowship, who all gave me phone numbers to call. Um, People offered me some advice, some opinions, some gave me a lot of suggestions of what to do. They told me where the meeting was the next day, and I left that meeting feeling better than I had in a very long time. So I kept going back and I kept going back, and I did the 90 meetings in 90 days. I got a sponsor. I began doing everything that was suggested of me. I began doing service work. But then I got complacent in my recovery, and I stopped all the things that were working for me, and eventually had a recurrence, and which lasted about 4 months, and I got fired from another job yet again. So I knew what was working for me before. I went back to the meetings, started over from scratch, and that was 6 years, 5 months, and 2 days ago. I wouldn't change a thing in my life. I did 24 years of active addiction, and when people ask me if I have any regrets, today I have no regrets. I've done things in my life that I'm ashamed of, and things that I wish I hadn't done, but I don't regret any of them because it's come to shape me into the person I am today. I'm a respected member of my community. I have a job that allows me to help families when they're in crisis. I have a relationship with a higher power. I have true friends in my life that I can rely upon, and that they can rely upon me when I need them. So my story of recovery is one of mutual aid meetings. I never had to do professional treatment. I never did medication assisted treatment. I'm an advocate for all of those types of forms of pathways of recovery. But for my own personal recovery, I choose 12-step fellowships. And today, they still make sense. I still have my regular meetings that I attend. I still have a sponsor that I do step work with. I have individuals that I talk to from the fellowship every single day. If I don't, I don't feel right. If I miss a meeting for the week, I just don't feel like I'm getting my medicine for the week. So for me, recovery is more than just meetings. Recovery is giving back to my community. Recovery is doing volunteer work. For me, recovery is not just a thing. Recovery is my way of life. Thank you very much.